Hi, and welcome back to another video in my Cura guide for 3D printing. In the last two videos, I walked you through Cura's support settings. Hope you found them helpful or learned something new. In this video, we'll cover wall, top, and bottom thickness, skin and infill overlap, and troubleshoot some common issues to help you pinpoint problems in your prints. Let's dive right in. Ever wondered why your prints turn out like this? Or what's causing these issues? Wouldn't you prefer your prints to look more like this? Stick around. I'll share some solutions to common problems and help you improve your prints. So, what causes issues with your walls, top and bottom layers? In other words, the overall shell. First, it could be a mechanical problem. But if you're confident your 3D printer is in good shape, then it's time to fine-tune some settings. And that's where I come in. Have you ever wondered how many walls or top and bottom layers you actually need? In other words, how thick your shell should be. From my experience and countless forums and videos, the magic number is a minimum shell thickness of 1.2 millimeters. However, don't limit yourself to just that. Anywhere between 1.2 millimeters and 1.6 millimeters works great. This range ensures you have enough walls to handle any shape you're printing. Simply, you can set the wall thickness to your preference, or you can adjust the wall line count. However, changing the wall line count means you'll need to do the calculations yourself. For example, how thick is one wall line? Let me show you another important setting: wall transition length. This is essentially the width of your extruding line. In my setup, I have 4 wall lines. By multiplying the wall transition length by the number of wall lines, you get your overall shell thickness. In my case, that's 1.76 millimeters. With this setting, I've never encountered any problems. Now, let's move on and talk about the top and bottom settings. If you enjoy this video and find the information helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Got questions or suggestions? Leave a comment below. Your feedback helps me decide what videos to create next. Let's keep improving together. Now, let's talk about top and bottom layers. In Cura, you can also simply set the thickness, and it will automatically calculate how many layers are needed to achieve that thickness. But how does it work? It all comes down to your layer height. In my case, I have it set to 0.15 millimeters. If you prefer to adjust settings manually instead of relying on Cura, you'll need to multiply your layer height by the number of top or bottom layers you want. This will give you the shell thickness you're aiming for. But don't forget about the magic number, 1.2 millimeters. Your top and bottom overall thickness should never be less than this to ensure strong and reliable prints. Just a quick reminder, I'm here to guide you through problems you might recognize, but don't feel like you need to change every setting I mentioned unless you think it's necessary. Everything I talk about comes from my own experience, so use these tips to adjust what works best for you. Stick around till the end to see some common problems with 3D prints and possible solutions to them. As we talked about overall shell thickness, have you ever wondered what else you can do to increase your print strength? That's where overlap settings for your top, bottom, and infill come into play. If you head back to your top and bottom settings and scroll down, you'll find the skin overlap percentage. Similarly, you can find a similar setting under your infill settings. I've set mine to 10%, and it works well for me. Be careful though. Setting it too high might cause over-extrusion, making your infill pattern visible on the outer skin. By tweaking these settings and running a few test prints, you'll be able to find your own sweet spot for strong and clean prints. Now that we've covered the basics of the shell, let's quickly go over some common issues you might encounter in your prints. Problems like clogging, Z-wobble, over-extrusion, moisture in your filament, or even an incorrect speed-to-temperature ratio can all impact your print quality. Let's break these down. Do you know how to recognize these problems? Let's start with the first one: clogging. In this picture, you can see an example of a clogged nozzle. This happens when leftover filament gets stuck to the walls inside your nozzle. A simple solution is to increase the temperature slightly and use a small needle, often provided by your printer manufacturer, to clear the blockage. Another effective method is the cold pull technique, which can remove debris from your nozzle. There are plenty of great tutorials online if you need guidance on how to do it. Next up is Z-wobble. This issue often shows up as imperfections on tall prints, like the ones you see here. Z-wobble is typically caused by a mechanical issue with your printer. Fixing Z-wobble often depends on your specific printer model. There are plenty of tutorials available online that cover various mods and adjustments. You can try to resolve this problem. Make sure to look for guides tailored to your printer for the best results. The last issue I want to mention is over or under extrusion. Luckily, this can be adjusted easily in Cura. Head to the material settings and scroll down to find the flow settings for different parts of your print. Depending on where the extrusion problem occurs, top and bottom layers, inner or outer walls, or even the infill, you can slightly increase or decrease the flow to find that perfect balance. My suggestion? Start by adjusting in small increments, like 0.5%, and run test prints to see the results. Another solution is E-steps calibration, which ensures your printer is extruding the correct amount of filament. We'll dive deeper into that in a future video. That's all for today. Thanks so much to everyone who watched until the end. If you found something helpful or enjoy the content I'm creating, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know about any problems you're having, and I'll cover them in future videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.